Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn and welcome to All We Make Is Good. This is the Make Everything podcast where I talk mainly about my knitting projects, and that is going to be everything that I have to talk about today. I have one finished object, which I am wearing, and then I have one work in progress to talk about as well. Both of these projects have been teaching me new things in knitting that I haven't tried before, so I'm really excited to talk about those. So I guess we'll just get right into it. My finished object is this dress that I'm wearing. It is a dress. It goes all the way down to my knees. I will insert some B-roll here so you can see me wearing it and see all of the little details that I'm talking about. So I designed this dress to be very, very boxy. I think I showed the sketch that it was based on in my last episode, but I'll show it here. I put a little sticker on it. So it was supposed to be very boxy, color block kind of design, and I will talk about the yarn. So the yarn that I chose for this project is, there was this one-of-a-kind skein from Barnyard Knits, and I had 4 skeins, and this is the end of the second skein. So that's the main color here. You can probably see in the clip that I did not alternate skeins at all, so you can see pretty clearly right where the more heavily speckled skein ended and the less speckled skein began, but I don't really care. It doesn't bother me at all. I think it still looks like a great dress. So this is all that I have left. This is about 13 grams, I think, left of the second skein. So this went really, really far. I was super surprised. This is the first time that I'm making a full garment like this in sock yarn, so it was super exciting to work on. And then this colorway over here is the Rhinebeck colorway by Dancing Leaf Dye Works. I did get this at Rhinebeck last year. This is going to be one of the garments that I wear to Rhinebeck this year. And then I have my work in progress is also going to be a garment that I've designed and I'm knitting specifically to wear to Rhinebeck this year. And then I will be working on a third one. I just haven't decided what it's going to be. But back to this one, the burgundy colorway is a Cascade Heritage sock in the colorway burgundy. I actually did try to look it up online and see if I could get another skein of it, and I couldn't find this burgundy colorway anymore. There's like a wine color which is a little similar, but it's not exactly the same, and I'm not sure if they make it anymore. I don't know. Please let me know if you've seen this colorway before. Specifically, it says burgundy on the label, because I did inherit this from Peggy's stash, so I know it is very old. But I really like the way that it looks with the rest of these colors, so I think it brings it all together. I did run out of it though. That's the reason why I was looking to buy another skein. So that's why this sleeve does not end in a big chunk of burgundy. I just finish it off completely with Rhinebeck. Let me see. I had a decent amount of Rhinebeck left, and originally the plan was to have this block of color go all the way around the back and down the other side, so it would be kind of this whole entire side would be Rhinebeck, but I wanted to make sure I had enough of it left to, 1, do the sleeve, and 2, to make a square for my scrappy blanket. So I did make that square here, and these squares only take 14-ish grams of yarn, so it really didn't take that much. So, and then this is going into my bag that I have here of all of my sock scraps. which will go into a scrappy sweater one day once I have enough in there. So that was that. I also had enough of the purple or the burgundy to make one square, and then that was it. It really used up pretty much the rest of that burgundy color. So yes, those were the 3 colors. I started off by casting on, how many was it? It was 32 stitches for the shoulder, knit those straight down. I actually started back here is where I started, and I knit all the way around down to where I wanted to cast on for the neck opening. Same thing with this color. Joined with 40 stitches across the opening in the front to make a nice square opening. Increased a little bit for the sleeves, and I think I only cast on, how many did I do? I think I cast on 5 stitches on either end to go under the sleeves because I knew 2 of them on either side would get seamed, so it would end up being 8 under the arms. I think that's how I worked it. I really like when things add up to an even number of 8. So 8 stitches under the arms, but I did it by casting on 5 on either end, and then just knit straight all the way down. This is intarsia all the way down the front, and this is the first time that I've ever done intarsia before. I did not look up any tutorials or anything. I just kind of wrapped the yarn around each other where they met, so that it was kind of like when you catch a float in colorwork. It seemed to work. It's a little bit loose towards the bottom. I can see where it's like kind of, it's not as tight of a gauge as I would like for that line there, but I think for my first time doing intarsia, I think this came out really well, and I really, really like it. This dress was originally a few inches shorter because I wanted it to be like 2 or 3 inches above my knee, and now it kind of like hits at my knee. Yeah, it pretty much hits my knee, so it did grow a few inches when I blocked it. This is the first time that I've like really blocked a wool garment, I think I did. I had this huge like one of those big plastic tote bins, and I filled that up with the water and the wool wash, and I set it in there, and I did like almost hot water. It was very warm. It wasn't like steaming hot or anything, but I did very warm water, and then I let it sit until the water was on the cooler side, and then I rolled it up in a towel and squeezed out all the extra water and laid it out on my mat here. And then I have my fan going in my bedroom constantly, so I just laid it out on the mat and went to sleep, and when I woke up it was all pretty much dry. So I love this. I love this so much. This is the second time I'm wearing it since I finished it, and it was almost like less than a week ago. So I'm really, really enjoying this. It's super warm for being a fingering weight dress. I wore it out and there was like a little breeze and stuff, and it was a little bit chillier, and I was not cold at all, even in this short sleeve knee length dress. It was super, super nice. And then I tried today to layer it with like a lightweight long sleeve tee underneath. I'm wearing it with leggings today, and I had on my other wool socks as well. And then I walked outside and realized it was way too warm for all those layers, so I had to take off the shirt and take off the socks. But I am so in love with this design. I think I forgot to mention that the back is 8 rows longer. I think I always add, for fingering weight, I always add 8 extra rows in the back to kind of make up for to make the back come up a little higher, I guess, even though I had the neck open and come down a little bit in the back. What else can I say about this design? I did short rows. I did 32 rows of short rows on the sleeves to make the outside come down a little bit longer and make it very even across my arm. And then I did stretch it a little bit too while it was blocking to make sure that everything looked nice. All of the cuffs on the sleeves are double knit. Same thing with the collar is double knit, and the hem at the bottom is double knit. I did 8 rows of double knitting on all of the edges. And I tried it a different way in only on the sections that are in the round. I tried it differently than I've seen other people do it before. So if I can explain it right. So normally when you do the double knitting, I'm sure most of you know, you basically knit one stitch, put the yarn in front, slip the next one, put the yarn in back and knit, and keep going like that all the way around. And then on the next row you would slip that first knit stitch with the yarn in the back, bring the yarn to the front, purl the next stitch, bring it to the back, slip, bring it to the front, purl, and so on around, and that counts as like one row if you do it. You go around twice and it counts as one row. So I thought that was going to take me so long and be such a hassle. I hate slipping every other stitch. It's just not something that I wanted to do at all. So what I thought of doing was separate the front stitches and the back stitches, but keep them all on the same cable so I could knit all the way around, purl all the way around, and I would get back to the beginning on the same cable. So it basically, the cable went around like this. And then one loop had the knit stitches and one loop had the purl stitches. And at the beginning and end where, let me fix this so it works. At the beginning and end where the needles met, you would have to pull the needle tips out to go over the cable again, because otherwise the stitches would be going under the cable and then you'd have to go over. I don't think I'm explaining this very well. I did put a video on my Instagram stories. It's probably gone. If I can unearth it and insert the video of what I'm doing, I will try to put that here so that maybe I can explain it a little bit better. So you knit around to the beginning of the row, which is this jumbled mess here. And then I will grab my stitch marker out from this tangled mess. And then you take the needle tip that's going underneath and bring it over to the top of the cable, and then you just switch over to purling. And now you just purl around the back. And then every time you get to this point here where the beginning of row is, there won't be a stitch marker here when I get there, but you always pull this needle tip out from below whatever cable is passing there, and you just make sure you always continue knitting around the top. So when I get back to here, I'll just switch back to the front and do knitting. That's essentially what I did around the sleeves, and it went so much faster. The only thing that you would have to watch for is when you slip the needle tips at the beginning and end of the rows to make sure that they're on top of the cable. One, it makes the stitches at the beginning and end a little bit looser, but you can very easily fix it in the end. Just go back and, adjust the gauge for those few stitches at the beginning and end. And then you can't even tell where it is. And then when you move the needle tips out from under to bring them onto the top, it can get very easy to drop one of the stitches. And then on the purling row, I ended up picking up a stitch twice. So I had to fix that on the first sleeve. So it was a little finicky to figure it out in the beginning, but it did work, and I did it much better on the second sleeve. So yeah, maybe I just invented something, I don't know. That would be cool if I invented a knitting technique. I don't know though, I'm sure somebody's done it before. So that was that. Let me think. The collar is also double knit, but I just picked up all the stitches, knit the front, and then picked up all the same stitches again and knit the inside, or I guess purled the inside, and then kitchenered across the top. So it wasn't really I didn't do it either of the ways that people normally do double knitting. So, but I did all of the little decreases in the corners here to keep this a nice square neckline. I really, really love the square neckline. It does kind of like pucker forward here, so I don't know if I need like a smaller square neckline or if that's just what happens. I don't really know. It doesn't bother me at all. I love wearing it the way that it is. I think it does have a little less structure, I guess would be the word, than a circular neck opening, because I feel like a circular neck opening like really holds all of the weight very well so that it's not slipping one way or another. I do feel this kind of slipping off the shoulders just the tiniest bit, not ever enough to fall off the shoulders, but I do feel it like opening up a little bit, so I do adjust it every now and then. But I love this design. I love these colors. I love everything about this dress, and this feels like one of the most professional pieces that I've ever made. I actually went into the office earlier this morning just to say hi to my coworkers because I don't get to do that too much in person because I work the night shift. So they're all in the office while I get to stay home in the morning. So I do go in every now and then to say hi, and of course I had to go in and show off my dress today, and like a bunch of people didn't even realize that I had made it, so that always feels really good when people think that you just like bought it from the store or something. So that was the biggest compliment for me. All right, I think I have said enough about this. All of the project information, including the amount of yarn that I used and like all of my stitch counts and everything like that, if you want to make pretty much exactly the same thing, all of the information is on the project page on Ravelry, and the link is in the description box for my project page. So I will move on to my work in progress, which is another fingering weight garment. Both of these garments, this one and the one that I'm working on, are knit on a US 2. I don't know if I said the needle size. So let me talk about the yarn first. I have 4 different colors, and the idea for this is the 3 garments that I'm making for Rhinebeck, I really wanted to include a yarn that I bought at Rhinebeck last year, because I did buy, I think I only bought like 4 skeins of yarn. I can't remember. And after these 2 projects are done, I'll have used up 3 of them. So that feels really nice. This is one of them, the Rhinefleck colorway, and then there's 2 in this project here. So the first one is, of course, Miss Bab's Harvest Plenty colorway. Oops, sorry, let me get the hair off it. Harvest Plenty colorway on her sock base, the Putnam base, 7525, and this yarn is a lot like thicker and denser, and I don't know, it just feels a lot thicker and sturdier than any of the other sock yarns that I've worked with. So this is my first time working with a Miss Babs colorway. I have a ton of them. This whole section back here is all Miss Babs, almost all of it. I think there's like 2 or 3 skeins there that aren't Miss Babs, but I have never actually knit with it yet. So this is my first time trying a Miss Babs yarn. So this Harvest Plenty colorway that I got at Rhinebeck last year, followed by this one is a one-of-a-kind colorway from Barnyard Knits. I've actually noticed, because I'm using 4 different colorways from 4 different dyers in this project here, I'm noticing all of the differences between their bases, and even though they have like very similar yardage, they're all 75-25 bases, I'm noticing like really big differences between each of these yarns. So the Barnyard Knits sock base, I would say, is probably the thinnest of them all, and I don't want to use the word flimsy because that's not like a good word to use. It feels very delicate. That would be a better word. This feels much more delicate than this. I don't know if you'll even be able to see a difference, but like this feels and looks a lot thicker than this. I'm sorry if I sniffle a little bit. I had a cold last week, and I was trying to wait until I got over it for the most part to start recording because I don't want my voice to go bad and I start coughing or something. But but I still do have a little bit of sinus congestion, so please excuse my sniffling. But this is a one-of-a-kind colorway from Barnyard Knits that I'm using, and this was the one that I wasn't really sure about would go with the rest of these colors, but I think it went well in the end. This one is the third colorway, and here it is. Here's the ball band. This is by the March Hare, and I haven't done too much research on this dyer. This is another inherited skein of yarn. I actually have two of these. So this is a 75-25. This is 455 yards, and the color is Autumn Woods. I do not know if the March Hare is still in business or not. I did not research it yet. I haven't even put this project on Ravelry yet. I will probably do that while this video is uploading, so all of the information is available by the time you guys see this. But as of this moment, I'm not sure if this is still available. So this is the third colorway, and then the last one is, I know this is a small skein, but that's because I already made socks with this and ripped them out. This is Heart of the Giant by Shirsty Cat on her Just Sock base. And here, I'll actually just show you the bigger cake. This is the bigger cake. I love, 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 love these colors, and I've been waiting to find the perfect project to use this in. So those are the four colors, and for this project, I said I was learning new techniques with all of these projects. For this one, I am learning entrelac knitting. I believe that's, I don't really know how you're supposed to say it, but I call it entrelac knitting. And this is what I have so far. So it will actually be, this is a top-down garment, so this is actually the top. And this is already like where I'm going to split for sleeves, because I didn't realize how much this stretches. And I'm going to have to like really stretch this out while blocking to make sure it rests correctly. But I am having so much fun doing this. I'm having so much fun. So I'm already working on the back, and I started with a different color to give it those 8 extra rows at the top. But I did a different color at the top, so that way when I join under the sleeves, it'll be the same. It'll be the same color row, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So I'm so excited for this. This is so much fun. I'm getting done like four to 5 rows every day, and by rows I mean like rows of the colors. So I think the colors go really well together. I think they go really well together. I don't know, because you know what's funny is I planned this all around this Harvest Plenty colorway, and now I think it's the only colorway that kind of almost clashes. But I am already this far and I'm running with it. So the plan is it's gonna be another fingering weight kind of knee length dress. I'm gonna aim to get those 2 to 3 inches above my knee, because I think that's a really cute length. This one is more form-fitting than this one. This is very boxy, very wide. It has a lot of positive ease on the side. This one I'm hoping is going to be 0 ease. We'll see what happens, especially because I'm not used to how much superwash yarn stretches when it blocks. I'm not used to that at all, because I've been knitting with linen and cottons for the whole summer, and those just shrink up so much. So I'm really not used to how it stretches, so I'm hoping that each of these projects helps me learn a little bit more each time. So I'm hoping that by the end of today I will have gotten to the point where I can join in the round underneath the arms, and it's been kind of difficult to think about how to shape this garment with the entrelac knitting. Like, it's easy to create the straight lines because you just do the triangles at the beginning and end of the row, but when you want to do like a gradual increase towards the center for the neck opening, that took a lot of mental work. So like, this is the gradual increase, and you can see that this square here is really funky looking, and then this is like the neck opening right there. I don't know, it got really funky in the middle for a second, so I think it will all look nice once I do the collar. I think that'll clean up a lot of these edges very nicely. But I'm still kind of mentally working how to do the sleeve openings as well. And I'm kind of just thinking I'll just cast on and do like one little triangle of 8 stitches underneath. Each of these is 8 stitches because I love the number 8. Each of the little rectangles is 8 stitches wide. So I'm thinking instead of doing any kind of like decreasing and then casting on, I'll just do like straight down and then cast on underneath 8 stitches. I don't really want to do the mental work to figure out how to make it look nice and circular for the sleeves. So I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to take an easy way out and hope that it looks okay. So the goal is I'm going to do these 4 colors for the body all the way down in interlock knitting. The collar is going to be 1x1 ribbing all in the Autumn Woods colorway, because I think that this really like pulls everything together to me, because it has a lot of like similar type browns in this one. It has a lot of similar golds in this one, and this is just kind of, I think they go nicely. They don't really have similar colors, but or similar tones, but I think they go nicely. So I'm going to use this colorway to do 1x1 ribbing on the collar, also on the hem at the bottom of the dress, and then I'm going to do, I can't decide if I want to do straight sleeves or like gently tapered. I still can't decide what kind of sleeves I want for this one. I had originally thought maybe I would do like 2x2 rib sleeves all the way down, but I don't know how I feel about that. I'm also going to have to invest in the short tips on a US2 for the Gu interchangeable set to do these sleeves, because on this one it didn't matter because this is a large enough circumference that I can just use the 5-inch tips, but when I do this one it's going to be a much smaller circumference, so I'm going to have to invest in the shorty tips for the US2 needle to do the sleeves, and I'm still not too sure how I'm going to do it. I think I like the idea of straight sleeves but not very wide. I think I want them to be very, very small, thin, straight sleeves, and then like a longer cuff. Oh, I think like a 6 to 8 inch cuff would be really nice. All ribbing and then straight from here. That might look really nice. Ooh, that gives me an idea. Okay, well, things to think about for later because I'll be working on this body forever. I am going to a wedding this weekend out in Utah for my friend Hannah. I'm so excited. If you saw the episode where I talked about my the wedding cape that I made her a wedding cape. I sent that to her. She already has it. She already wore it when she got it, so she really liked it. I'm so thrilled that she liked it. That's all I was really worried about. But it's her wedding this weekend, so I will be bringing this project on the plane. I have to find the right bag to bring all of these skeins, and I'm going to have to, I'll probably get through this today and then start on the next one, so I'll have to bring the bigger cake. I have one more skein one more ball that's like this size because I had originally made socks with this on US2 needles, but the gauge was too loose and the socks stretched out too much and I didn't like it, and I didn't want to just never wear the socks in this gorgeous yarn that I knew that I wanted to wear. So I unwound those, reset the yarn, and so that's why I have 2 smaller ones. But let me know what you think. Have you guys ever tried interlock knitting? And tell me how you pronounce it. I'd love to see. Are you guys working on garments for Rhinebeck? Are you going to Rhinebeck? Oh, I also have a question for anybody who's going to Rhinebeck. Are you bringing skeins from your stash that you want to trade? I don't know if that's something that people do. This is only my second year going, but I do have some skeins, specifically sock yarn skeins in my stash, hand dyed, that I don't think I'm in love with anymore as I was when I bought them, and I would love to trade them with somebody, especially because I feel like at this point I'm looking for tonals to go with all of these crazy speckled skeins that I have. So if you are going to Rhinebeck, let me know. Do you bring skeins to trade with other people there? Or if not, let me know too, because I'll just leave them at home then. But that is everything that I have to share with you today. I will hopefully have this finished in another 2 weeks. I think this dress took me just over 2 weeks, mainly because I took a few days off here and there without any knitting on it. So hopefully this will take me about 2 weeks as well, and then I should have enough time to get one more fingering weight garment in, I think. And for that one, I'm definitely going to use the deluxe sock base from Barnyard Knits, because that's the 80-20 base, and I think that one might be a little bit heftier than the 75-25 base that she has. So I'm looking forward to working with that. Actually, let me just talk about that right now. So I got these 3 skeins of, this colorway is Riverwalk, and this is the deluxe sock base from Barnyard Knits. So I have 3 of these, which I know that can give me a full-length dress if I wanted one. So that is what I'm planning to do, is just a very, very plain and simple stockinette all the way down dress. And I'm going to attempt to do a circular yoke with this one instead of like a drop shoulder, which is I've pretty much been doing drop shoulder for all of these. I think this is considered a drop shoulder. So I'm going to attempt to do a circular yoke with this. I've never done it before, so I don't really know. I'm going to have to spend a lot of time doing math and making sure everything looks right before I cast on with this. And then this is going to be a new base, so I don't really know what gauge it's going to be, and I'll have to figure out what needle size. Oh, this is 85-15, not 80-20. Nice. 85-15. This feels like a much squishier base. So I'm very excited for that. And then the complement is going to be the rest of this gorgeous red that I got from Peggy. I made some socks with it already, and I want to use up the rest of this in something special, so let me bring that back out. I think all of the cuffs and the accent, basically all the accents, I'm going to do in this red color. So I think that would look really, really nice. I think that'll go really well. So very plain and simple third garment. And then I need to figure out which day I'm going to wear all of them on. I think I'll probably do this one and this one at Rhinebeck, and then the other one I will do on the Friday for the 3 other smaller fiber events that day. I am so excited, you guys. Can you tell I'm like brimming with excitement for Rhinebeck? I cannot wait. It's just over a month away, and it's all I can think about at this point. Especially working on garments like this. They just bring me so much joy. I love working on garments where like everything is so visually beautiful. It's just, and then like the technique is so satisfying, and it's just such a joy to work on. I'm having so much fun. Okay, before I prattle on into oblivion, thank you so much for watching today's episode and listening to me talk all about my knitting. I have nobody else to talk about this stuff but you guys, so I really appreciate everybody that joins me to watch these videos. And I will hope to see you in another week or 2 with maybe a finished garment. Alright, bye everyone.